everyone, and welcome to the first ever virtual Oktoberfest of Rotary International District 7230 on World Polio Day. My name is Susanna Schwartz, and I'm a member of the Rotary E-Club of Wall Street, and I'm a Münchner Kinde. That means I'm originally from Munich. So within the next about 2 hours, we will have a lot of fun and get to know a lot about Bavarian traditions. We will have beer tasting, Bavarian cooking classes, we will see Bavarian dancers, and we will have also friends from Germany tuning in, and much, much more, so be excited. I want to make use of this moment to thank everybody who supported us to make this event happen today. So again, a big thank you. Apart from that, I also want to announce some special guests who are joining us today. There is Mike McGovern, the chair of Polio Plus Committee of Rotary International, and Valerie Wafer, the Rotary International Director of Zone 28/32. They will be our guest speakers in the next couple of minutes. So, besides having time to celebrate at the Oktoberfest, I also like to remind you that this is a fundraiser for the World Polio Day. Rotary International has dedicated itself to eradicate polio about 30 years ago, and we are this close. So I'd like to ask you, besides enjoying and having fun at this Oktoberfest, to also take a little bit of time and consider to make a little donation towards End Polio Now, to help us to make our dream come true, to free this world from polio once and for all. So now, what can I say? We should get started. So, Prost und viel Vergnügen. Cheers and enjoy.
Welcome, Rotary family and guests, to District 7230's virtual Oktoberfest in celebration of World Polio Day 2020. We have a lot to celebrate. The African region was declared wild polio virus free in August. To kick off our festivities, please join me in welcoming Rotary International Polio Plus Committee Chair and past RI Vice President Mike McGovern from District 7780 and the Rotary Club of South Portland and Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Mike could be many places today, so we are honored and thrilled that he's joining us. I have a few questions for you, Mike. Are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Governor Mary. Looking forward to it.
Chair Mike, glad you're here. You visited with Prime Minister Imran Khan and the Army Chief of Staff back in February. Please tell us about that meeting and Pakistan's renewed efforts to end polio now.
Yeah, we had a great meeting. It was the first week of February. COVID was starting to rear its head. The health minister was dealing with issues of students they had over in Wuhan. But you went with Holger Kadak, the president of Rotary this year, and with Ravi Ravindran, the chair, and we were joined by Aziz Memon, who is the polio chair there. But anyway, we had tremendous meetings with the Prime Minister, with the Army General. The Prime Minister said he had taken his eye off the ball. He actually said he had screwed up at the transition of becoming Prime Minister, and he didn't appoint some of the right people. He was getting the good people back in place. It was all very positive. The Army General helps with logistics, security. It was all very positive, and we were able to visit with a lot of Rotarians there, and to see for example, the places where they store vaccine, the emergency center. It was just a wonderful visit, and to see the dedication of the Rotarians there in Pakistan for the eradication of polio.
Awesome, thanks. So we were delighted to hear that the African region of the World Health Organization was declared wild polio virus free in August. Tell us about that and how we as Rotary clubs and districts and Rotary International can leverage that great news.
It was a wonderful day. And, I go back to, it was a few years back. Rotary took on something, kicked polio out of Africa. The symbol was a soccer ball. And the person who kicked it off, it was a past president of Rotary, Louis G.I., but the other person was Nelson Mandela. And so, it was a long time coming. And, it's really historic achievement. 47 countries free of the wild polio virus. And, when you look at some of those countries aren't easy, the different Congos, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Niger, and in the end, Nigeria. It was just, an amazing achievement that Rotary was able to accomplish working with our partners. It took a lot of investment, $980 million Rotary has spent in Africa to get to this point. So great celebration, and all Rotarians ought to be proud. And now we need to sustain that polio-free Africa. We need to continue the surveillance. We need to be sure that we don't have wild polio cases. We still have some vaccine-derived cases, and people may get excited when they read about those, but the wild polio virus, we believe, is gone.
Thank you. How does Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation spend the money that we raise for the Polio Plus Fund?
We have a goal every year of $50 million. For everything we spend up to $50 million, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation matches it 2-to-1, which is just tremendous. So anyway, we spend quite a bit of the money now on buying vaccines. Just today, the Rotary Foundation trustees approved $50 million in spending, and it's going towards vaccines. It's going to surveillance, so identify cases. An awful lot of it, though, is going to Pakistan and Afghanistan, where we actually pay stipends to community-based vaccinators who go door to door, where we're giving them all of the protective equipment they need with COVID, as well as hand sanitizers. Some Rotarians have got soap donations, and they're delivering all this. So, after a little bit of a break, we've resumed house-to-house vaccinations in Pakistan, and that's where a lot of our money is going to those two countries, and making sure in the whole Eastern Mediterranean region, which is like Syria and some of those countries, to make sure if there are polio cases, we find them and pick them up. It's just tremendous to have gone from 350,000 cases a year down to about 130 as we speak today.
Great, thank you. Tell us a little bit more about the plus in Polio Plus. What do we mean by that?
A great question. Some of it is we help out with other routine immunizations. Such things as measles and rubella. We're doing that in India, in part as a way to make sure they're continuing their polio vaccination. But we're also doing that in many African countries, helping with, vitamin deficiencies. And, in a lot of our personnel, while they're paid for by the polio program, by the partnership, they're also providing surveillance. We also fund laboratories, which are funded by polio, but also test for other diseases as they're now doing for COVID testing. In addition to that, there's a small amount of money we spend for things like putting in wells, water and sanitation, other things to help win the support of local folks, as we try to encourage them to allow their children to be vaccinated.
My last question for you, Mike, is why does zero matter? Would you please share with us your thoughts on that?
Mary, this will be the second disease ever eradicated from the face of the earth. Smallpox was the first one. Rotarians had a dream. It was a dream to benefit the children of the world. And that dream is a polio-free world. It hasn't been easy. We've had passion from thousands and thousands of Rotarians. We've had persistence, we've had patience, and we've had financial support. Getting to zero means, we often say this is the plane ride away. It won't be a plane ride away. It'll be done. And yeah, we may have a few vaccine-derived cases thereafter, but to eliminate a virus that has caused such havoc to so many families and pain to so many individuals, it'll be one of the greatest achievements in public health in history. And Rotarians will know we started this. We were the vision. We were the ones that got it done. We were fortunate to recruit partners, but we were fortunate we stuck with it until the very end, down to zero.
Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. No one has done more to help end polio now, and we'll celebrate with you and your accomplishments when we do get to zero. Thank you for joining us on World Polio Day. Be well and take care.
Well, thank you, and have a great Oktoberfest event as well. I was fortunate to go 3 times in Munich. Wonderful time. So everyone ought to have some fun today in this event, but remember, do all you can to end polio now.
Hello, ich bin Wayne, and I'm a proud member of the Rotary Club of Harlem. Thanks to Mike McGovern, chair of the Polio Plus Committee of Rotary International, for his greetings and insights on activities to end polio now. You know, Oktoberfest is mostly associated with beer. My favorite beer is Spaten, and for Oktoberfest, you should try the Hofbräu Oktoberfest beer. So let's find out more about German beers with Stephanie Bezar in our beer tasting. Prost!
Hello, my name is Stephanie Bezar. I am the buyer at Pompet Wines in Harlem, New York. Thank you to the Rotary District International Club 7230 for inviting me to this Oktoberfest party. Today I'm visiting the Lorelei Beer Garden in Lower Manhattan, and I have a variety of German beers that we're going to taste together. Did you know beer is the oldest recorded recipe in the world, dating back to Egypt 5000 BC? The oldest evidence that beer was brewed in Germany comes to around 800 BC, and by the 2nd century after Christ, beer was already being traded commercially. There are more than 1,300 different breweries and over 5,500 unique brands in Germany. Producing more than 2.5 billion gallons, Germany is the biggest beer producer in Europe. And Oktoberfest is one of the largest German celebrations worldwide. The festival originated in 1810 in celebration of the marriage of the Crown Prince of Bavaria, who later became King Louis I. But over the years, it has transformed into a worldwide celebration of beer, Germany, and camaraderie. The most important German styles of beer to note are Helles, which is light beer, the most common one, Dunkel, which is dark beer, and Hefeweizen, which is wheat beer. The first beer I have is the Kranz Kolsch, which is from Kolsch, Cologne, and it has notes of citrus, hops, and a light bitter finish.
Yeah. Okay, great. I was like,
the second beer is the Radberger Pilsner, which is from Radberger, Germany. It has a dry, lightly bitter, savory, more minerally finish. The third beer I have is the Kostritzer Schwarzbier, which is a dark beer, also known as a Dunkel. The Schwarzbier is dark and creamy with notes of chocolate, coffee, and malt. And then the Hefeweizen, which is actually from the world's oldest brewery, is this last one, and it's going to be a little bit more fruity. With notes of orange, tropical banana, barley, and wheat. The last 3 beers we have are Oktoberfest specials. The first one is the Hofbräu Oktoberfest. This one's from Munich, and it's going to be the most traditional Oktoberfest beer that we have here in the United States. Not too heavy, but definitely rich. Has a nice dry finish, and a little bit nutty and salty. Nice and dry. The second beer we have is a Spaten Oktoberfest from Munich, and it's a Marsen beer. It's a darker lager, and compared to the first Oktoberfest beer, it's a little bit darker. I think this one's my favorite. It's a little bit nutty and dry as well. And the last beer, last but not least, is the Weisstefaner. It's the fest beer. It's a little bit clearer, less cloudy, and a little lighter than the beers before it. You can see the difference. Oh wow, it's the most floral and fruity of all of the beers that we've had so far. Thank you so much for joining me today for this German beer tasting at Lorelei Beer Garden, and thank you again to the Rotary International District 7230 for inviting me to this Oktoberfest celebration. Enjoy!
Prost! We just heard the music playing, Ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Remember, always when you hear the song, this means grab your beer, get up and cheer with your friends and your new friends you just got to know now. So, Prost!
Ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Welcome to the 2020 Oktoberfest in times of COVID-19. Of course, we would like to welcome you to our Theresienwiese here, where usually the Oktoberfest takes place. And we're very happy to bring it to your homes, a little bit of this Oktoberfest feeling. So, we're now going to show you a little bit of what us Bavarians would wear during this Oktoberfest. Because of course we all have these lederhosen. Some of them are above the knee, some go below the knee. They can be in light brown or in darker brown, depending on what fabric it is, on what leather it is. But it doesn't stop there. Of course, we also need the right shoes. We call them Haferlschuhe. I don't know what that's called in English, but they are traditional shoes that go with the outfit. And then, depending on the socks, you can have socks that are worn the traditional way, or you can have those calf warmers, which you only wear on your calves. The upper part, you have a traditional shirt, which you fold up on the arms, because you need to show those muscles in order to take the big mugs and drink your beer. Above it, we often wear a vest, and if you want, and depending on the weather, a hat or a jacket. And then there's one little thing. We are very happy to welcome the world to our Oktoberfest, and many people from around the globe get dressed in our traditional outfit. So how do you recognize those Bavarians? We call it Glupperl. In German it's called Wäscheklammer. It's a cloth pin and you can inscribe it with whatever you see fit. So sometimes it's a name, sometimes it's a slogan, in order to make sure you find us Bavarians. We wish you a wonderful Oktoberfest, and as we say here, auf eine friedliche Wiesn. Here's to a peaceful Oktoberfest. Have a great time and bye bye from Munich.
Thanks, Florian, and thank you to his friends Lena and Jan. It's so fun to see Munich again. I'm missing the real Munich Oktoberfest, but let's hope in 2021 it's back and we can all go together. Kind of getting hungry, so let's talk food. What are the classic Bavarian dishes? Especially the broadside, that's kind of like a quick bite or an appetizer. Have you heard about Oberster? That's a delicious Bavarian cheese dish that goes really well with Brezen, like the soft pretzels or the bread. Roland, can you show us how to do our own Oberster?
Servus and welcome to the 2020 Virtual Oktoberfest in support of Rotary's End Polio Now, and welcome to Roland's Bavarian Kitchen, where tonight we will be preparing a typical Bavarian beer food, Oberster, potato salad with a warm bacon dressing, and everybody's favorite pork schnitzel. But first, Oberster. Oberster is a spiced cheese dish that goes well with any kind of beer that you are drinking, and what you need is 10 ounces of brie or camembert cheese, 6 ounces of cream cheese, and 3 tablespoons of butter, all softened at room temperature, as well as a finely chopped small onion, paprika, salt and pepper to taste, onion rings, and finely chopped chives for garnish, and to serve it on either rye bread or pretzels. So let's get started. We have a serving bowl here, and we are just going to put in the softened brie as well as the cream cheese and the butter, and combine that with the onions. I'm using a fork for hand mixing, but you may also want to use a mixer with a paddle attachment. What you're trying to do is incorporate the cheese, cream cheese and butter together with the onions. Salt and pepper to taste. And about half a teaspoon of paprika. trying to do is incorporate that to create a spread. And to make your life a little bit easier, and since this is a Bavarian dish, you can add about a quarter cup of your favorite Oktoberfest beer. And as you can tell already, this makes mixing it a lot easier. And this is about the consistency that we are looking for. In order to serve, let's grab a couple of pretzels. A nice serving of Oberster. Onion rings and chives, and here you go, Oberster.
Jetzt geht es los, 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 die Krüge hoch, hoch, hoch. Ich trinke erstmal einen Wein, dann lade ich meinen Nachbarn ein. Aus einer Stunde werden 3 und ich bin immer noch dabei. Wir bestellen uns ein Bier und plötzlich sind es dann schon 4. Wir sind jetzt alle schon per Du. Komm, setz dich bitte auch dazu. Jetzt geht es los, 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 die Krüge hoch, hoch, hoch. Freunde, Prost, Prost, Prost auf euch, jawohl, die Krüge hoch. Jetzt geht es los, 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 die Krüge hoch, hoch, hoch. Freunde, Prost, Prost, Prost auf euch, jawohl, die Krüge hoch. Wir haben Spaß mit Alkohol, die Krüge hoch. Wir haben Spaß mit Alkohol, die Krüge hoch. Wir haben Spaß mit Alkohol. Alles klar, wir sind da wie jedes Jahr. Alle sind sie mit dabei. Mach dich mal locker, mach dich frei. Wir sind so geil, wir sind so froh. But never eat the yellow snow. Heute spielt die Blasmusik, bis ich aus der Hütte flieg. Heute wird gefeiert und die Blaskapelle spielt. Blaskapelle spielt, Blaskapelle spielt. Heute wird gefeiert.
District 7230 for World Polio Day, and all the donations that we are collecting today go towards End Polio Now. Remember, we are this close to get rid of polio on this planet once and for all. The next special guest I'd like to announce now is Valerie Wafer, the Rotary International Director of Zone 28-32. The stage is yours.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it looks like you're having so much fun. I wish we were together for this Oktoberfest party. It looks like you just have so many great ways of celebrating this weekend and celebrating World Polio Day. So congratulations. You know, despite this pandemic, Rotary has been working as hard as ever to reach that moment in time when polio is finally eradicated from the face of the earth. Today and every day, brave, dedicated health workers risk their lives to ensure children in the 2 remaining endemic countries receive the vaccinations against this dreaded disease. And the efforts and dedication have come to fruition. On August 25th, it was announced that Africa had kicked out the wild polio virus and has been certified polio-free. This is the success story of the year, and we should celebrate this week, this day. As Dr. Bob Scott said on a call this week, it was one of the highlights of his Rotary life and work. And he cheered out loud when the announcement was made. I remember being in India in 2012 on a national immunization day when India was declared polio-free. It was an incredible moment to realize that if India, with a population of over 1.3 billion people, could eradicate this disease, anything is possible, and we will see the end. A win against polio is a win for global health. With the infrastructure we helped create to end polio, we have built a lasting global health legacy that is now used to protect millions of children from other diseases. For example, in Pakistan, the measles immunization program relies on the same system developed to keep the vaccine cool, the cold chain. It played a major role in Nigeria in 2014 when Ebola struck. But as I witnessed in India, it is also local health clinics set up in rural communities during national immunization days to address health issues such as diabetes, heart care, eye care, and nutrition. This is the plus in Polio Plus. This is Rotary's greatest humanitarian effort. We've been at it for many years. We have fundraised. We have the support of our global partners, our governments, and our heroes that make sure that every child is saved, that every child will walk and have a chance at a full and productive life. We are here because of you. Thank you for the work that you do to highlight our accomplishments and energize us to keep our promise to the children of the world. Enjoy your event, enjoy your weekend, and be safe and be well.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Walker from the Rotary Club of Manhattan, New York. Thanks to Valerie Wafer, Rotary International Director from Zones 28-32, for taking the time to join our Oktoberfest and her remarks on World Polio Day. Let's get to know some Bavarian dance traditions with our next act, the kids dance group from Bayer, Wuren, Newark. Paul Ulrich, the first Vorplattler of Bayer, Wuren, Newark, will introduce us to dancing traditions. So let's go.
Rotary Virtual Oktoberfest attendees, grüß dich, hello, Paul Ulrich here again from Beinfreien, Newark, your dancing performers for this virtual Oktoberfest. I hope you're enjoying your festival, enjoying a good beer, some good food, and hopefully we can be here to entertain you here for the next few minutes. So last time we performed, we had our adult dancers. They did the Steirer Figurentanz. This time we will have our children perform what's called the Unterwessner. The Unterwessner is essentially what we call the patty cake dance. The kids practice once a week, generally for a few months in the spring and fall, and we're really excited to be sharing a recent performance of them performing in public at one of our fairs. So I hope you enjoy. Again, if you're interested in learning more about our club, you can find information for us at bvnnj.org. We'd love to have you join us. If you're interested in dancing or just want to socialize and learn more about Bavarian or Tyrolean culture, please feel free to drop us a line and learn more about us online. So with that, Prost, enjoy the rest of your Oktoberfest, and hopefully enjoy the kids doing the Unterwestner. Dankeschön.
always smiling, you know.
Hello everybody, welcome to New York and Central Park for today's Oktoberfest, the first virtual one of District 7230. These challenging times of COVID, as you can hear and see clearly, we are wearing our masks. As I'm talking to you, I will just take them off so you can hear me much better. So we are here today, my friend Antje and I, Susanna. We are both from Germany and we want to tell you some information about Bavarian dresses, dirndls, Oktoberfest, and some more background information about these traditions. My dear friend Bootsy von Sterling sent some questions to us and we will try to give you and her the best answers in the following couple of minutes.
Prost! Guten Abend. Hello, I'm Fräulein Bootsy Sterling, here to wish you a happy Oktoberfest 2020. Today we're going to talk to some authentic German girls about the traditional dress called the Dirndl. Let's go find out more. Could you please tell us, ladies, what is the history of Tracht versus Dirndl? Are they the same thing? How did they all come about? And do ladies still wear them today?
I am glad you asked this question. Thank you so much. Okay, well, let's first do a little German lesson. So we have Susanne and she is wearing a dirndl, or we can also call it a Tracht. Tracht is it originated from the word tragen, to wear. And we have a beautiful blaue Schürze, a blue apron, eine weiße Bluse, a white blouse, and maybe you just turn around and it's a beautiful, nicely flowing skirt. You can have a long dirndl or a shorter dirndl or a super short dirndl. So where did the dirndl originate? In fact, it was a maid's dress. Back in the 19th century in Austria, the maids were wearing a Tracht, a dirndl. And
it was also called Dirndlgewand.
That's right, thank you. And then with the Industrial Revolution, dirndls became cheaper. They didn't need to be hand-sewn and special materials. Everyone could have a dirndl. So you find dirndls in so many German-speaking countries. Which ones, Susanne?
So there's, for example, of course, Germany, obviously. Majorly Bavaria, my home region. Then we have Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein, Southern Tyrol. Even you can find many people who wear dirndls and Tracht in other European, especially Eastern European regions like Romania, Hungary, and so on.
And here we are. We are in New York City, Central Park. Unfortunately, this year we missed the Stuben Parade because it was cancelled due to COVID. Hopefully we have it back next year. And you will find so many Americans wearing a dirndl. So hopefully we can join in next year, 2021. Thank you.
And ladies, another question for you. At Oktoberfest when I went, everyone was buying these cute little clothespins with their names engraved on them. And then they have these little trinkets at the end with a little Bavarian ribbon. And I know that they're traditionally worn on your dirndl. The men get them too. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of those? Are they only for Bavarians or does everyone get one? We'd love to know more.
Cool that you asked the question. We get just ours on, so Antje has her global with her name on. And also because it is World Polio Day, we have it today with End Polio Now, and for me, World Polio Day. These Glupper, or Wäscheklammern, like we call it in Germany, are originally from the waitresses in the tents, in also other beer halls and so on. And the first idea was just to clip the orders there. In the development over time, it was like, hey, why not putting the name of the waitress on it? So it's easier for the guests, especially after they have drunk a little bit more, to still identify their waitress. And then over time, it just made it to more or less everybody. It's an icebreaker, basically, because you can easily get in touch with somebody, say their name, or talk about what they have on this little global. Also, not to forget about that, many Bavarians try to use that now as an identifier for being originals.
So when you're wearing your dirndl, you have your apron. And ladies, what is the story behind the bow or not? I know if you tie your bow on one side or the other, it means you're married or single, and traditions have sort of changed and updated through the times. Can you give us what is currently done and what is traditional with the tying of the bow or the knot on your apron?
The question about the knot, or where you put this beautiful bow, I will explain it with my friend here. So it is an indication of the marital status of a lady or girl. So if you have it, like my dear friend Antje here on the right side, then it means you are in a relationship, or in the very traditional way, it means you're married. That brings me already to the discussion. Being in a relationship versus being married, many people say nowadays it's okay to wear it on the right when you're in a relationship. But traditionally, it would be that you are still single, and then you would put it on the left. If you put it in the center, that's more for girls, little children. They are virgins, so that is obviously for that. And if you have it in the back, you're unfortunately a very sad person because you're a widow.
Although Oktoberfest is celebrated around the world, such as we're doing tonight, can you please tell us the history of the Oktoberfest in Munich?
Thanks for asking the question, where does the Oktoberfest actually originate from? It was in October 1810 that Crown Prince Ludwig of Bavaria married Therese Charlotte Luise Friederike Amalie von Sachsen-Hildburghausen. They had a very big celebration right outside of the gates of Munich on the nowadays called Theresienwiese. They had a big horse race happening. There were over 40,000 spectators looking at this race of 30 horses, and the big winner of that race was Franz Baumgartner. It was such a big success for the city to celebrate right in front of basically Munich's gates that they wanted to do that as an annual event. They did it then basically for the last more than 200 years, celebrating that event. Over the time, it became less of a horse race and evolved much more into the Oktoberfest like we know it nowadays, with big beer tents, with lots of rides and lots of other festivities. It was like back in the later 19th century that it became that way that we know it now, basically just because of electricity came into the game. So, let's celebrate on the Oktoberfest.
and cheers to our Oktoberfest here in New York and wherever you're joining us around the world today. And a big thank you also to our actresses, Susanna and Antje, and as well as for Cindy, our Dündel-loving friend, for all the insights information. And a big thank you also to Cyril Peter from CEO Worldwide Film, who helped edit many of our clips for today's event. And join us for more of our Oktoberfest secrets from New York in part 2 in a little while.
also a wine tent at the real Oktoberfest. So be excited for some wine tasting with Stephanie Baser. And now, where does that leave me? Let's have Noah Mas. Prost!
When you think about the Oktoberfest in Munich, you think about pictures like this. But this year, the spot of the Oktoberfest looks this. Servus. I'm Uli Heuken, past president of the Rotary E-Club Bavaria International and District Governor Nominee in District 1841, the southernmost, highest and most beautiful district in Germany. From the Theresienwiese Museum Munich, where the Oktoberfest takes place every year, I send greetings to the Rotarians and Rotaractors in Districts 7230 who are celebrating their own Oktoberfest today. For the first time since World War II, the Oktoberfest has to be cancelled due to the COVID-19 epidemic. This is very sad for all Munich residents and all the beer lovers from all over the world. I wish all members of the Rotarian family in District 7230 a lot of fun with their online Oktoberfest, and I want to give you one important information. At the Oktoberfest, this is not a beer. This is a beer. Prost!
Tausend Dank, and thank you, Ulrich Heuken from District 1841 and the Rotary E-Club of Bavaria International for your greetings from München and the Theresienwiese. Are you excited as me? Well, let's learn more about Bavarian traditions from our authentic German ladies, Susanne and Antje! Discover the Oktoberfest secrets from New York, Part 2, starring our Dirndl-loving American friend Cindy as Bootsy Sterling.
I was trying to find some answers today from Mr. Salty, but he wasn't really forthcoming. So instead we have some German ladies today to answer some questions. Why does the Munich mayor shout, "Oh, Saft is"?
Usually what you hear on the first day of the Oktoberfest in Munich is the mayor shouting out, "Oh, Saft is." Why does he do that? The first time this tradition was basically created by the mayor of Munich, Thomas Wimmer, in 1950 in the Schottenhammel tent. He opened the first barrel of beer, and this started basically the Oktoberfest. He needed 17 hits until the beer was floating out. Nowadays, also the mayor usually does it, and Dieter Reiter, our current mayor of Munich, he just needed 2 hits in 2019. What is he shouting now? After the beer is flowing, Saft ist, auf eine friedliche Wiesen, to a peaceful Oktoberfest. So, let's drink. Prost!
Prost! So what recent traditions are associated with the Oktoberfest?
Tradition matters a lot to us people from Munich. So the Oktoberfest has evolved over time, as you just learned. But we like our traditions a lot. So in 2010, when we had the 200th anniversary of the Oktoberfest, we came back to our roots. We had a big horse race, we had a nice older kind of setting with traditional rides from the 50s and also some older ones. on our so-called Wiesen. That was such a big success for the 200th anniversary of the Oktoberfest that we had the Wiesen ever since.
So ladies, I just have some other quick questions. I know traditionally ladies wear their hair in braids. Is that something that's always been the case?
Braids really became much more of a fashion statement within the last couple of years. So girls and ladies like to wear them and show them off when they go to the Oktoberfest. But of course, it's everybody's choice. Not everybody likes to have them. Not everybody is talented to make them. So, like me, for example, I was never really gifted in doing them myself. I always need a helping hand. So the last time I really wore braids was when I was 5 years old and I went to Mardi Gras and was the Red Riding Hood with nice braids. So what I did now is just having a little bun because I wanted to look especially beautiful for you now. But remember, it's always your choice.
Do ladies ever wear lederhosen?
Good question. Lederhosen majorly are made for guys. Obviously, back in the old days, it was not suitable for women or girls to wear trousers or pants. So that's why also the lederhosen was more of a statement for guys. Nowadays we live in so modern times that everybody's allowed to wear them. So you see ladies and girls wearing lederhosen at the Oktoberfest and also at other occasions, festivals in and around Munich and many other places.
I'm just sitting here having ein dunkles beer with Mr. Salty and had a quick question. Ladies, in America, we call these steins, but they're not called steins in Germany. What are they called?
Thanks for asking the question. I brought my little Maßkrug. It fills a liter. We call it not steins like you Americans do. We call it Maßkrug. No matter if it is of glass or some other materials basically that are covering more or less your beer in it. Often you see the brand of the beer, for example. So, this is about the Maßkrug.
So, what's the most beer steins you've ever seen a beer hall girl carry?
We were just talking about Maßkrüge, the beer mugs, the big beer steins, and thanks for the question about what is the highest amount of beer mugs I've ever seen. You know the waitresses are coming to your table with lots of beers, so my dear friend Antje is carrying 4 of these delicious beers. What we know, for example, Anita from the Ochsenbraterei, she was in the Guinness Book of Records, world record, for carrying the most mugs. She was able, and still is, able to carry up to 18 mugs. Her little secret is like putting 6 on the one hand, 6 others in the other hand, 2 in between, and then 4 on top. That totals in 42 kilograms, or a little over 90 pounds. So, walking around with these nice mugs, we say, Prost! Prost!
So I just wondered if anything goes in the beer halls. Are there any traditional do's and don'ts that especially Americans who would go to Oktoberfest would have to observe?
So, okay, now when you go to the beer tents, when you go to the beer halls in Bavaria, what are things you should not miss? Is on the one side, of course, the beer. On the other, the traditional Bavarian food like Schweinebraten, sausages, and so on and so forth. What else should you do? Don't forget to sing with the crowd, Viva Bavaria, or some other songs, and especially one song. When you get your beers, the chapel basically, or the band, starts to play ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. So, ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Prost!
Well, now we learned a lot about the Oktoberfest secrets and Bavarian traditions, and it's time for some main dishes. And Roland has an awesome Bavarian cooking class for you, where we will learn the best potato salad. It's actually called Kartoffelsalat, and it has a warm bacon dressing, and it's so good. And after his class, we will have some more drinks, not just beer. I know all of you think that it's all about beer in Germany and that's what we're famous for. I know, and good cars, but we also have amazing wine. So we'll have a wonderful wine tasting with Stephanie Baser, and yeah.
Welcome back to Roland's Bavarian Kitchen and part 2 of our virtual Oktoberfest Bavarian cooking class. We are doing potato salad with a warm bacon dressing. What we need is 1.5 pounds of Yukon potatoes, which we have already boiled until they are done but still firm and peeled. Half a head of lettuce, shredded. Bacon strips cut into smaller pieces or cubes, a medium onion diced, and 1/4 cup each of white sugar, water, and red wine vinegar. So let's go to the stove and prepare the bacon and dressing. Here we are rendering the bacon in a cast iron skillet until it is brown. Now that the bacon is nicely browning on both sides, we will take the bacon bits out and put them on a paper towel to absorb the fat, and best to do that with a slotted spoon. We are reserving the fat for our dressing. The onions and cook them until they are tender. And while they are cooking, we'll add some freshly ground black pepper to the taste. While the onions are cooking, let's quickly combine our other ingredients. quarter cup of water, quarter cup of vinegar, and quarter cup of white sugar. Stir it up a little and add it to the onions. Stirring to combine. And let it continue to cook until it slightly thickens. Now let's assemble our potato salad. While the onions were cooking, we cut our potatoes into nice bite-sized pieces. And we are now adding the lettuce and about half of the bacon pieces. Let's toss it gently in order not to break up the potatoes. And let's add our warm onion dressing. And toss again lightly. Now we can add the rest of our bacon. One more brief toss. And here you go, German potato salad with a warm bacon dressing. Enjoy!
Hello, happy Oktoberfest. My name is Stephanie Baser and I am the buyer at Pompet Wines in Harlem, New York. Today we're going to be celebrating by tasting 4 of my favorite German wines. But first, a quick lesson. In the world of wine, Germany is home to some of the most highly regarded wines in history and today. But you may not know the Germans have been making wine for over 2,000 years. A cool climate and diverse soil types make Germany an ideal place for winemaking. Germany is divided into 13 subsections, each unique and known for their distinct styles. In fact, Germany grows over 130 grape varietals. Today we will be tasting 4 of the most famous styles of wine. The first, most well-known grape is Riesling, one of the oldest varieties of white wine. Over half the world's Riesling grapes are grown in Germany. Riesling can be made in a variety of styles, ranging from very dry to very sweet. The earlier the grapes are picked, the less sugar they will contain, compared to ripe grapes, which have a higher sugar content. The most important terms to know are Trocken, which means dry, and Spätlese, which means late harvest, aka sweet wine. We begin with dry Riesling from Pfalz. The Von Winning Estate is one of my favorite wineries, consistently making beautiful, fresh, elegant wines. They practice organic and sustainable viticulture and use minimal intervention in their winemaking. The Von Winning Trocken is light, tart, and floral, with notes of white lilies, lime zest, wet stone, and underripe pear. The acidity is super mouth-watering and really, really refreshing. It would be an amazing pairing with sushi or roast chicken, something not too heavy that could really benefit from the freshness of this wine. The second wine we taste is a Müller-Thurgau, a grape that is actually a crossing between Riesling and the lesser-known varietal, Madeleine Royale. Müller-Thurgau is known for being early ripening and very fruity. This bottle by Boral Deal is also from Pfalz and sustainably produced. This wine is dry with bright acidity. Compared to the first Riesling, it is more tropical and fruity, with notes of lime, golden apple, pear, and peach. The third wine I have is a sweet Riesling from the Mosel. It's called Clean Slate after the slate in the soil where they grow the grapes. Reflecting and retaining heat, the slate helps the Riesling ripen in the cool climate. The riper grapes create sweeter wines, like this Riesling, which is going to have notes of peach, citrus, and apricot. All three of these white wines are floral, fruity, and refreshing, making them an excellent pairing for spicy and savory foods like Thai or Indian cuisine. While we have only tasted 3 styles of white wine, there are many, many more. In fact, 2/3 of Germany's wines produced are white wine. In addition to Riesling, a few other key grapes to know are Grauburgunder, known as Pinot Gris, Weissburgunder, known as Pinot Blanc, and Gewürztraminer. As far as red grapes, the most important is Spätburgunder. You may already be familiar with it as it's the German name for Pinot Noir. The name Burgunder references the Burgundy region of France, where the Pinot Noir originates. French missionaries brought it to Germany in the 12th century. Today, Germany is the 3rd largest producer of Pinot Noir in the world, after France and the United States. Typically grown in more southern parts of Germany, Spätburgunder is known for being light, juicy, and fruit-forward. This Spätburgunder is from Von Boden, a super small winery located in Baden. The grapes come from 30-year-old vines planted in sandstone and limestone soil. That mineral-rich soil will definitely impart a stony, minerally flavor to the wine. You definitely get that mineral note, notes of crushed cranberry, cherry, and bright acidity, which is a sign of the cooler climate. Light baking notes like clove and the soft smoky finish make this a beautiful example of German Pinot Noir. This Spätburgunder is a perfect wine for autumn. This season, remember Oktoberfest can also be a time to celebrate German wine. From dry to sweet and everything in between, German wine is the perfect addition to any meal and every occasion. Happy Oktoberfest! Prost!
Hey, it's Wayne again, and thank you, Stephanie, for that wonderful insights on German wines. You know, in Hamburg, they drink more of a Osterwasser, which is a mix of beer with lemonade. In Bavaria, they call it Radler. So with that said, let's see if our friends in Hamburg are ready for Oktoberfest. Okay.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum ersten virtuellen Oktoberfest. Willkommen aus Deutschland.
Hey, welcome to the first virtual Oktoberfest. Greetings from Germany.
Wir wünschen euch viel Spaß.
Have fun.
Hi there, my name is Kirk, and I'm a prospective member with the Rotary Club of Manhattan. Listening to the last part of today's Oktoberfest Party event, after the dance act we've seen a couple of minutes ago, we are coming back to Paul Ulrich, the first Verplattler from Bayern Verein, Newark. Thanks to Paul Ulrich for giving us the opportunity to experience traditional Bavarian dances. And now let's see more from the dancers of Bayern Verein, Newark. Let's have some fun.
Grüß dich and hello. Congratulations to the Rotary Club for having their virtual Oktoberfest. Hopefully you all are enjoying yourselves. My name is Paul Ork. I am the Vorplattler, or in English, the German dance leader for Beinfreien Newark. We are a German organization based in New Jersey that service the New York City area in perpetuating German and Bavarian and Tyrolean culture through dance, song, and just other cultural activities. We are here today to dance for you throughout the Oktoberfest. We'll be doing a dance here for you shortly. If you're interested in learning more about our organization, you can find us at www.bvnnj.org. But enough about me, the organization. Let's catch up with the dancers as they have already started to perform what's called the Steile Figurentanz, which is not a direct translation, but the dance is intended to essentially have the men flirt with the women to try and steal a kiss from their partner. So I hope you enjoy. Look forward to seeing you later. Prost!
Servus and welcome back to our Bavarian cooking class. Now it's schnitzel time. Now, schnitzel Viennese art is probably the most commonly known form of schnitzel, and it's made from veal. Tonight we are doing Schweineschnitzel, which is from pork loin. So here I have 4 pieces of about 1 inch thick cut pieces of pork loin with all the excess fat trimmed off. We also need some flour, 2 beaten eggs, and panko or regular breadcrumbs, as well as salt, pepper and paprika, some parsley and a lemon. But first we have to turn these pieces of pork loin into schnitzels, and for that we have some cling wrap and a mallet, because when you make schnitzel you're not only getting a good meal, you also get an opportunity to get all of your aggression out by feeding the schnitzel. So now we have approximately 1/4 inch thick piece of pork loin. Before we start, we'll add some salt, pepper, and paprika to our flour. Mix it in with the flour. And now we can drench the pork schnitzel in the flour. Then in the egg wash. And finally the breadcrumbs. On the stove we have a large skillet with a liberal amount of either olive oil or canola oil to pan fry this schnitzel. So let's go to the stove. So here we have our very hot skillet, and you always want to do this in batches, not to crowd the schnitzel in the pan. Because we pounded the pork loin into very thin schnitzels, this takes only a minute or 2 per side to cook. We can already see that it is turning golden brown. Let's give it another couple of seconds on one side and then we'll turn it over. You see how it is nicely golden brown, and it takes only about 90 seconds per side to cook. almost done. And when we're finished, we are putting it on another plate with paper towels to absorb some of the excess fat before we are arranging it and it is ready to serve. So, here you have it, Schweineschnitzel served with our potato salad with warm bacon dressing, and we garnish it with a slice of lemon, some parsley, and our Oberster. Enjoy and support Rotary's End Polio Now campaign. Prost!
Hey, it's Wayne here again from the Rotary Club of Harlem. Is everyone having a good time? Are you enjoying yourselves? I really do hope so, because Oktoberfest has been wonderful. Also, thank you so much for your continued support and all of your donations to help us end polio now. So real quick, I'm about to make these German dishes poorly pronounced. I'm going to poorly pronounce these German dishes, so please bear with me. My only request is that you drink more beer to make me sound like I'm actually from Bavaria. So, with that stated again, thank you to Roland for the great Schweineschnitzel cooking class. Now we all know how to have a full Bavarian meal with Obersten, Kartoffelsalat, which is potato salad, and Schweineschnitzel, which is the pork schnitzel. However, I also want everyone to realize that this fundraising party is not only about Bavarian Oktoberfest traditions and fun. It's also about Rotary's big goal to eradicate polio once and for all. So, with that stated, let's all take an opportunity to say thank you, Rotary, via this video. And this is a very special day, World Polio Day 2020. Prost.
For each of us, there are moments that define us. Moments where we fought for what we believed.
The moment Berliners have waited 28 years for.
When we pushed the boundaries to the unknown. Moments that remind us of a past we cannot accept, and that create within us the desire to take a stand and do something. 30 years ago, polio was claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of children just like me. There was a vaccine that could help stop it, but it wasn't reaching all of us. Until you decided to step in and do something. You decided to find a way to reach us all, no matter where in the world we might be. It all started with one small project. And 6 million children were saved from polio, forever. The world took notice, and things began to change. On streets, on trains, planes, boats, and bicycles, over deserts and rivers, mountains and valleys, through jungles and war zones. You never stopped. But it can't end here. We are this close, the closest that we've ever been. 3 countries remain, and we must continue to strive to reach every last child. Because every life truly does matter. And together, you have proved that when you put service above self, the world can be a much better place.
Since 1985, Rotary has been the foundation on which the polio eradication program is built.
Last year, we saw just 37 cases, the lowest number in history.
Thanks to your efforts, more than 16 million people are walking today who would otherwise have been paralyzed.
Thanks to your vision, humanity is on the verge of one of the greatest public health achievements in history.
While our work is not yet done, the remarkable dream that you had 3 decades ago to tackle one of the world's greatest public health challenges, the end of polio, is nearly a reality.
Thanks to you, we truly are this close to ending polio.
Thanks to you, we are truly this close to ending polio.
Hi, I'm Irene Gallagher, President of the Tropical Rotary Club and proud member of District 7230. I want to say thank you so much to all of you for your support, because thanks to your support, we are this close to eradicating polio for good, and no child should ever suffer from that debilitating disease. So once again, thank you. Danke. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you.